vincontroller.eu. Check vehicle history for every used car in Europe. Welcome back to Boostmania International, everybody. We recently received an Audi A4 for free. And we do happen to have some plans with the car. So, what are the plans? We'll repair it, bring it back to its glory, and give it away to somebody who really needs it. Somebody who needs the car way more than we do. And that's why we partnered up with Q-Service, and we're currently in Trenčín today. Now it's time to take a closer look at the car. Because so far, we've just driven it to our studio in Senec. But since this is a giveaway car, we wanted to make sure it's as reliable as it can be. So that's why we came here today. We'll have the car looked over, it will receive some basic maintenance, and then we'll make a list of parts that we might need to order. After all that, we'll have this car detailed. We want this car to smell nice, since it's driven 300,000 kilometers. And trust me when I say it smells like it. So, let's go inside, put the car on the lift, and we'll find out in what condition the car is, what needs to be done, and we'll do the basic maintenance. Let's go! Welcome back! The checkup and the basic maintenance are done, and I'm sitting here with the owner of the service. So, could you please tell us what we found out about the car? Well, we found a few things. Firstly, the car got an oil change, we changed all 4 of its filters, then we checked the condition of all fluids, and we changed the brake fluid. And we checked some other things to make sure the car is safe. And the result is we need to change some parts. So, which ones should we order? Well, firstly I'd start with the front control arms. Both the front control arms are torn from their mounts. So that needs to be changed. The rear shock bump stops are also destroyed, which is actually kind of dangerous. The exhaust has some pretty big holes in multiple places. The oil pressure sensor is throwing an error code, but that's usually just some faulty wiring. So the sensor probably doesn't have to be replaced. And that's all. Alright, we'll fix the electric issues with our other partner, who will also be repairing many other electrical issues, like the wires and doors that don't work. So, how much does a basic checkup and maintenance like this cost? Well, the basic service, including some bulbs, filters, and the brake fluid change, considering you brought all the material, you'll only be paying for the job, which is 80 euros. Alright, thank you very much. We'll have to wait a few days before the parts arrive, but once they do, we'll take them to the Bratislava Q-Service, where everything will be replaced, and the new front bumper will be fitted. Oh, and don't worry, we didn't forget about a rusty trunk lid. We already have all the body parts. We'd like to give a huge thank you to everybody who donated. After all that's fitted, the car will be transported to the body shop, after that to the electrician, and after that we'll have the car detailed, so that it's nice and clean. Hey everybody! Few days have passed, and all our parts have arrived at Q-Service Bratislava. We should have everything we need to replace on this car. We also used our Vivaro to transport all the parts that were donated to us, like the front bumper, or the front radiator, which this car seems to have some problems with, and many other small parts that need to be replaced. All we need to do is leave the car here, come back for it in a few days, and then we can bring it to an electrician to have some problems fixed. There's a few electrical problems that need to be looked over, but the biggest problem are the windows, which only work half the time. So, it's the next day, and we're back next to our A4. A whole lot of stuff was removed from the car. Come have a look. The front bumper, the fender liners, basically the whole suspension system, and a lot more. Because we want this car to drive like it's new. Let me tell you something. A few days ago, and yes, it's days for us, there were some things that we missed during the first checkup. Thankfully, we found all these issues while disassembling the car. So let's come have a look. But it's awesome to see all this. I wouldn't think to replace a triangle after some time, but you should. So, along with the front bumper, the front radiator was removed, and along with that, the AC radiator was removed as well. The fender liners were taken off because we needed to get the dampers out. Those, believe it or not, are short. We didn't feel anything wrong with them on the road, but we'll replace them preventively. These ones are pretty old, so we'll fit new ones. Thankfully, the parts are not unreasonably expensive. We want everything to be done correctly. We also have many other parts. We have the control arms already fitted to the uprights. The whole front suspension assembly is disassembled because we needed some space to replace the dampers. We also fit brand new brake pads, so the car slows down like it should. We're also changing the control arms, because the bushings inside were completely shot. And you can actually only buy the control arms with the bushings in as a pair. And there's a simple reason why both of them need to be replaced at the same time. And it's all to avoid the problems with geometry of the wheels. We also check over all the ball joints and other suspension components, but those are alright, so they'll get mounted back in. And this part is very important. And that's the front crash bar. As you can see, it has simply split in two. I'm guessing somebody really did hit this car with a hitch. And this is also why the radiator was busted. And so was the front bumper. The problem is, this is an aluminum part. You can get this from a third party. It costs a lot more than you think, and it's only available through Audi dealers. So thank you very much Audi Bratislava for helping us. They will get this part for us. But there's a catch. This part wasn't in stock, so they had to order it from God knows where. It will probably arrive in a few days, but that's the reason why you don't see the bumper on the car today. But don't worry, you'll see that in the future. Once the crash bar arrives, we can fit it to the car, add some radiators, and then, finally, can we fit the bumper. Now, since this bumper is aftermarket, I'll try to fit it without the crash bar anyways, just to make sure we have the right bumper. We're learning from our mistakes. Once we see that the bumper fits, we can start assembling the car. The next step after that is the body shop, where we'll have the front bumper painted, as well as a trunk lid to fit the car. After that, we'll go fix some electrical issues, because as we mentioned earlier, we have some problems with the electronics in the driver doors. Also, there's this one sensor, and it keeps throwing an error code in the car's computer. This is the oil level sensor, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes it screams that there's not enough oil, although we always have enough oil in the engine. So, either the sensor is faulty, or we need to fix some electronics. But we'll fix that later. Apart from other things, we need to replace the flex pipe of the exhaust, because it's completely torn through and it vibrates when the car starts. And along with all that, since the exhaust has its age, we're also thinking about replacing the front muffler, and we'll also replace the rear muffler, because that one's rusted through. Thankfully, the exhaust parts have already arrived. But there's a small issue. They forgot to pack the muffler that's rusted on our car. We have all the other components. And no, we're not fitting an Akrapovic exhaust. It's just sheer coincidence that the Akrapovic box is here. Apart from the front bumper, the trunk lid needs to be painted as well. Thank you to the gentleman who donated this. This trunk lid belongs to an S4, however. We really weren't sure if it will fit in the first place. But it fits nicely. The guys at the body shop definitely won't be bored. They need to remove all these glued-on parts that were probably attached by a previous owner. They also need to remove the license plate holder. Or rather, the 300,000 pieces of tape that hold it together. I'm guessing some people just attach their license plates like this. It's going to be quite challenging to remove this. But don't worry, you'll see all that in the next episode. So, see you in the next one.